I am so lucky I got to interview the authors of this awesome book, or some of the authors from this awesome book, Advancing Empathy and Equity in Early Childhood Education. This is the leader version. There's also a teacher version that I have behind me, but I want to go and explore one free resource from the book that I'm going to link to as well. You could totally grab it and use it for your school or for your specific educator. So designed for preschool and early education. And thinking about equity specifically, it is a self and community assessment of equity roadmap and the different components here. So this is a kind of quick reproducible where you have the component. Of course, the book goes into much more depth, both of the books. And then you have the assessment of ourselves, an assessment of our school community. Because you can envision kind of a leader doing this, or a classroom teacher doing this, or any staff member. You have some opportunity for notes here. I would probably flag next steps at this point. So understanding racism and its impact on young children. How well do I do that? How well does our community do that? Heart Plus and Heart-Centered Learning. This is a core component of their book. Again, either book has this. So if you want to choose the book that's right for you, I'll link to both in the show notes. A strengths-based developmental framework. How often do we think about the strengths of our students versus, right, the deficits? Increasing conscious awareness of bias. How often do we do that? Do we build our capacity and our knowledge and our awareness and our ability to learn, both individually and as a collective, as a community? How do we welcome families, right? How do we create compassionate, inclusive school communities? Advancing positive identities through children's books. They have a really great section in there with a lot of data. You may have seen many of these infographics online if you're in these spaces, but just the breakdown of kind of the racial and linguistic and national identities of characters, of authors writing about those characters. How many are animals versus humans? I mean, there is so much in there. And then finally, promoting heart, curiosity, and self-determination. So it gives you a nice starting point. Of course, having read the book and knowing what each of these mean in more depth, it gives you a nice starting point to just say, okay, well, where are we? Right? And then what action steps, again, you can note that in that note column, what action steps we can get to advance kind of the area of priority. And I'd probably focus on one at a time where we get to offer a lot of attention, but of course they're all interconnected. So do what feels right for you in your community. Don't need to say this to you, but this is a starting point. This is a way to kind of focus in on something that is changeable, it is actionable, and get you moving. It is certainly not the end all be all, but I know a lot of people like to start with assessments or inventories, and this will give you a nice jump starting point for conversation in your community.